Howdy y'all, Chief Jones, Brother Damon here again. I'm going to try and do a shorter video today and try and get out some short ones. I can't seem to get the right software to downsize my videos from 1.5 to 3 gigabytes down to something that YouTube will take, or it takes 2 days to load up. Anyway, today is going to be on words. Words matter. Words have meanings. They have statutory meanings, meanings in codes, meanings in laws, meanings in everyday conversation. Then there's biblical meanings, then there's ancient meanings. So when some people say man or person or individual, that means something in the Bible, or it may not be in the Bible because it doesn't exist in the Bible. It exists in some man-made law, policy, rule, regulation, or code. Now, some people ask me, why do I interact with Jay Vincent, being a preacher? Because he says fuck, damn, shit, son of a bitch, and all these words. Well, I know all the words, but I also know the meaning behind the words. And I know where they originally come from. Most of them. Some of them I'm still looking up, like somebody says, you son of a bitch. Well, I'm saying these for educational purposes. I'm not trying to offend nobody or upset nobody, but these are the words you don't hear at no church. But I'm a church that's looking for people that can get past being offended and get onto a relationship with Jesus. Remember, it was a religious crowd that nailed him to a cross. Okay, that was the religious crowd. The Pharisees knew all the rules and regulations and all the proper things. Jesus wants you to have a relationship with him. Well, what does fuck mean? It means intercourse. It could be sexual intercourse, or it could be intercourse in business from state to state. So states fuck all the time. But you're taught and you're programmed as a young child, don't say that word, don't say that word. Well, depends on how you're using it. Like people say, fuck you. Well, they're saying intercourse you. Or, I want to bend you over and rape you. So it depends on how people's saying it. And they could say that and just mean, I'm angry with you. Okay, people say shit. Okay, some people say that means ship high in transit, because I used to carry manure on ships for fertilizer from country to country, and so when it was low on the bottom of the ship, it'd get some water on it, it'd create methane gases, and then you go down with the lanterns or something to check below decks for something, the flame and the methane gas, boom, paya, the ship is gone. It's all over the ocean. So it's a ship high in transit. So they'd say shit it. So now one who's a very learned man and studies a lot of these languages, and he's a linguist, and he lives in New Hampshire, named Christopher. He's a good buddy of mine, and we interact with each other on several different things, so we're like-minded on a lot of things, and he says it's got a more profound and a deeper meaning. So if he sees this, I hear you, Chris. Okay. Now, people say they like it when they go, gobble, gobble. So to all the people that's after me, and since I'm a bad guy, gobble, gobble. Okay, that's to you. Anyway, I'm just trying to say that words have meanings, meanings have words. So when the police wants you to sign a ticket, the words that's on there might mean what you think they mean, and they might mean something else. Okay, like it says, I agree to appear. Well, they're going to tell you, just like I told everybody else back before I knew, it says, this is not a plea of guilt. Well, that's true. So that's telling you one thing it ain't, but it ain't telling you the other 15 or 20 hidden things that it is. So that's a limited disclosure, not full disclosure. You see the difference? Okay, it might not be a plea of guilt, but it says, I promise to appear. Okay, and the way that they have it wrote, it means that you're going to physically manifest yourself into a courtroom in an all capital letters name. So Me, I'm Damon Chief Jones, Damon Jones, whatever. So if they wrote me a uniform traffic citation, what they call it, which is a military summons to go to a military tribunal with a military judge where whatever comes out of his mouth is the law. I think it's a 1984 military styles manual that'll tell you all about this. In fact, John Quaid, you look him up and you go into his abatements, and he's got a lot of videos. He's passed on. He was a great actor and a great activist, and God knows we need him and we miss him. But John Quaid did a lot of studies on this, and Randy Lee. In fact, I don't know if Randy Lee's alive, but I can't locate him. If anybody knows where Randy Lee is, I'd like to know. So, anyway, what you're signing on that ticket is saying that you're basically going to manifest yourself there. So you made an agreement. You made a contract with the court. So if you don't come, then they're going to issue a warrant for your arrest, which is criminal, for not taking care of a civil matter. Now they've turned it into a criminal matter. So they ain't supposed to be able to turn civil matters into criminal matters. Now, if something has a civil side to it and a criminal side to it, great. Then it has those elements. But you run a stop sign. Somebody at some city or some county or state put up a stop sign because they thought it was a good idea. And because you didn't stop at it, or you had a rolling stop, blah, 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 then you get this ticket. So that turned into you going to jail because they made a warrant for your arrest. That record is going to be on you for the rest of your life. So for the rest of your life, every time you get ready to get a job and they run a background, or you want to invest in certain things, they run a background, or you want to be a partner in a business, you want to be a policeman if you decide to do that, which these days, I don't know. Maybe if it was a small town and they was in desperate need of protection and they come to me and said, we want you to be our chief, and they really needed me, and I know how that constitutional, I might would do it. Just depends, okay? Keep in mind, I ain't a lawyer. Thank God. I'm a common law lawyer, as in the common law. I'm that kind. But not a esquire, a bar attorney. That's British Accreditation Regency. I always say British Accreditation Registry, but it's British Accreditation Regency. So I've been told. But I got to look into that a little further. Either way, it don't mean what you think it means. And then there's symbolic railing courts that symbolizes the bar. So only bar people get to go on the other side, and their guests, whoever's a guest with the bar, that the judge that's on the bar, and they get together with their little bar attorney, bar judge, bar prosecutor to say, well, we can agree to let this guy in, or that woman, for whatever reason. Anyway, just remember, words have meanings, meanings have words, okay? And I have a document that's called Words and Phrases. And that's my legal research. And I've been working on that for over 10 years to get the best definitions. Well, that other guy, y'all knew who I'm talking about. That other guy had a copy of it, and he's been selling it to people for $15 or $20 a piece. And that's mine, and it's copyrighted. So, again, he's stealing from me. Okay? So just to let you know, okay? That's my labor, my work. If I change a tire on your car, which I can't do right now, but if I could and I change the tire on your car, then you owe the money to me. But if you pay money to my neighbor for work I did, you steal from me. And he has illegal gain. Okay? So, you helped him get an illegal gain, so you're both criminals. So, just saying, I'm not a millionaire or nothing. I just make it from day to day, minute to minute. So, stealing from me really hurts me and my family. But if you want the words and phrases and would like to make a donation to my church, then my church will accept that, and I'll give the rights to my church to give that out to people that donate as a thank you. You see this on TV. Give to us at our church, and we'll send you our latest book. Well, That's legal stuff where you give them a gift and they give you a gift. It's all donations. So I'm saying everybody that wants to make a donation to my church, hey, maybe you got $5, just donate it. You got 2 ounces of silver, donate it. And I'll send you my words and phrases. Now I've got a super manifested update that fortunately, for the love of God, that other bad guy up in Oregon, John Boy, y'all know who I'm talking about, he don't have that. And that's the new increased massive list of stuff that I can bind. So he had a small list. I've got a really gigantic list. But anyway, I digress. I shouldn't talk about that evil guy. I just let him do his evil thing, and God will take care of him. And, of course, a lot of other people may as well. Of course, that's their prerogative. I'm not going to. I'm only going to act lawful and act right. But don't be scared if you know what the words mean. That's just like in the old dictionaries, the word nigger, N-I-G-E-R, used to appear in the old dictionaries. Well, my daddy, a good Christian man, wanted to sit me down because he said this word matters. He said people misapply this word all the time, N-I-G-E-R. He had a dictionary, said, a socially undesirable person. Okay, well, I know the way they said person means a man or a woman, but that's not what they said. But, so, you got white niggers, black niggers, brown niggers, red niggers, yellow niggers, man and woman niggers. Okay, so nigger. So, if somebody gets me on the stand and say, have you ever said nigger? Why, hell yeah, I've said it 1,000 times, but I said it in proper context. I didn't say it as a racial slur. I didn't say it in a bigoted way, however you want to call it. Okay? I just, I'm a straight guy. I'm honest. At one time, I had more black friends than I had white friends because their customs and their traditions were more suitable to me. At different times, I had more white friends than black friends. At one time, I had more Hispanic friends, Latino. Some of them like the word Latino, some Hispanic, some Mexicans. We're Mexican-American, man. Okay, well, good. All right, let's party. Let's have some free cerveza, okay? So, anyway, that's my little interpretation of some of my friends. Hey, let me tell you my little friend here, okay? Anyway, hey, if you like me, you like my videos, you like my church, sovereignchurchofjesus.com, www.sovereignchurchofjesus.com. I always mention that because you never know when YouTube might go to me and then I ain't here no more. But you could always come over there and reach me if you need me for something. But hopefully, I think I'd obey all the rules, and I don't do nothing but self-defense and explain and teach people. So that's that. Well, this is a wrap. God bless you, and learn the meanings of words. Where did they come from and what did they mean? So if you're going to use the words, use them right. That way people will know you're smart. You ain't an idiot. Look, think, come up with a plan, and then speak it out or do it. Because if your mind and your mouth ain't in gear together, things will come out you didn't wish come out. Now, I explain my words and their meanings. So, if anybody's a hater and writes something nasty on here, I done already explained it. So, you're out in left field, and they ain't going to take the time to deal with you, okay? So, that's why I deal with Jay Vincent. He knows what the words mean. And he uses them right. And people talking about, I post P&P news stuff with me on my channel, and I post Luck Follier's Institute on mine. Well, that's because Jay Vincent over at Luck Follier's and Steve over at P&P News, we all agreed anything I do with them or they do with me, we all three have rights to. So I put it on my channel and they put it on their channel. The only thing is I've agreed if it's their thing, they put it on their channel first, And so it goes out on their channel first, and because I'm secondary, then I put it on my channel after they get it out. And that's a personal agreement, and I honor it. So I ain't ripping nobody off. I'm doing what we agreed to do, okay? As soon as I get smart enough to deal with all this tech junk where I can interview them, then I'll get the stuff and I'll interview them. And then I get to put it up first, and then they can put it on their channel if they want to. It's options. Life is full of choices. The choices you make today will affect you a little bit tomorrow and a little more the next day. And like I just seen this new thing about Jay put out, boy, I mean to stop, but I just can't help myself. Oh my God, I can't help myself. About your training. And I got this thing, like I call it phase 1, from age birth to 6 is like phase 1, and then 6 to 12 is phase 2. Phase 3 is 12 to 18. Then you're considered an adult. We used to be 21, and this 18 was because of the Vietnam War and people going off to war, and they couldn't buy beer, they couldn't own property, so they had this constitutional amendment, and changed it. Anyway, that was a big deal in the early 70s during the Richard Milhouse Nixon presidency. So study that in history too, how it changed from 21 to 18. I see the good in it, and I see the understanding in it, but it's a lot of bad because most people don't have half their good sense until they're 21. In other words, a man or woman entering into a contract when they're 18 versus 21, they sometimes don't have the maturity to make that kind of decision or that kind of ability. That's just like I wouldn't let people enter the military till they were 21. I wouldn't let people drink alcohol or buy cannabis till they were 21. I wouldn't let them sign contracts till they're 21, so that physically and mentally they're at a more mature level. But anyway, I digress. So stage 3 is when you're 18. Well, most people between 18 and about 30 or 35, somewhere in there, then they begin doing a little tweaking, saying, Mama, Daddy, Aunt, Uncle, Cousin, my teachers, whomever, they didn't teach me right. So they begin to change. So you'll find a lot of people around age 30 to 35, maybe they were brought up Baptist and they turned Catholic, or they were Catholic and they turned Presbyterian, or they wasn't no religion and they got religion, or they had religion and then they gave it up, or they modified or changed their religious and their viewpoints and so forth and so on. Anyway, that happens. A lot of people that are raped, other trauma happens in their life, they bury it in the back of their mind. It buries it. And then sometime when they're 30 to 35, all of a sudden they have a dream or little flashes of it, and they start thinking about it, and then they realize, hey, this really happened to me. And, your brain starts to open up somewhere between 30 and 35 for an opportunity to reprogram yourself. So I think between 18 and 30, somewhere in there, maybe 18 and 35, then you got all that time to start seeing other things, listening, thinking, hearing other people talk, and your mind begins to enlarge. And when your mind enlarges, then you say, wait a minute, I was taught this, but I've researched and found out that's a lie. Here's the truth. And then you find several other things. All of a sudden you start going dot to dot to dot to dot to dot to dot. And now you got this new picture, and you said, this picture don't look like that picture. That picture's got all these squiggly lines, and this is a good squared off picture. I see really clearly now. I was mistaught. Or in the case you were taught correctly and you were taught right, and you had really great parents or great parents or teachers or nurturers, you were taught right and you were taught good, then you say, hey, I had good teaching, and they did a fantastic job. And when you get 18 and you're in phase 3, then you start expanding on that. You said, well, here's the knowledge they gave me, and then you start expand. Big time. Okay, so what I'm saying is, if you don't do nothing else, and you consider that in the scriptures, in the Word of God, in the King James Bible, it talks about go to the elders, go to the elders, go to the elders. There's a reason the elders have been through phase 1, 2, and 3. They've been through 18 to the rest of their life. That's the last phase. That's like phase 4. Phase 4 is from 18 until you drop dead. Okay? That's my thinking. Me. I'm entitled to my own thoughts. I got 2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, and ears. And they're mine, just like my thoughts. Hey, I got a butt too. But I try and don't show that to nobody. I think that's disrespectful. Okay? You got to learn about different cultures and what offends people. In fact, I had a black friend one time, and he was a cop, same place I was, and I turned to write a ticket, and he was kind of standing to the side of me, and I went to write the ticket, and he tapped me on the shoulder. Hey, Jones, don't turn your ass to me. Don't never turn your ass to me. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, black folks don't like you turning your ass to them. I said, well, I didn't know that. And probably a lot of white people don't know that, okay? He said, well, I appreciate it if you turn to the side and don't turn your ass to me. I said, well, hey, let me put this back to you. Why don't you walk down here about 3 foot and my ass won't be to you, okay? Maybe I'm offended that you're offended. So we got in this big joke in the car, riding around talking about, well, I'm offended that you're offended. And he said, well, I'm offended that you're offended that I'm offended. If you give it its legs and its heads, it'll go forever. Back. So the point is, I talked about white folks and their beliefs. He talked about black folks and their beliefs. Just like I used to work at Mario's Club in Dallas, and there was a couple of Mexican guys that me and them were thicker than bugs on a bumper, and they used to talk about Latino, Mexican, Hispanic history and their culture and their beliefs, and I talk about mine, as in white folks. Okay? And so far as I know, my people's all white and all come from Europe and all, except for there's Indian in us too. And no, I ain't no Senator Warren, whatever her name, Pocahontas. I actually really got some. It's just a little bit, but there's there. I'm mainly just a white man, okay? But I'm a white man that's a fair man and a thinking man. And all men lie. God said men are liars and God be the truth. So I do my best to always speak the truth, but there's always going to be some inaccuracy or some lie somewhere, somehow, because God said so. So I just accept that I'm a liar trying to be truthful. So wait till they get ready to swear you in next time, and they say, you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth. You say, nope. They say, what? You say, I'm a liar. You're a liar? We can't swear you in, you're a liar. Say, well, that Bible that you got, or if you got one around here, because some courts don't use Bibles no more, some do. They said that Bible there says, God said men are liars and he's the truth. So how do we reconcile that? I can tell I do my best. Besides that, God says don't swear an oath. So I can't swear nothing. I'll just let my yes be, I'll do the best I can to tell the truth. I'll tell it the way I remember it and the way so forth and so on. And that's so that men can't come after you and rend you and tear you apart. People used to rend their clothes in the Bible to tear them apart. That was how they showed frustration. But anyway, hey, I ain't a lawyer. I ain't a doctor and I ain't a judge. But I can tell you about a lot of folk remedies because I am a medicine man. The Indian in me is a medicine man. Hey, the white man in me is a medicine man too. I'm a holy man and a medicine man and a lawful man. I'm all kind of man. God sent me that I be everything to every man. So I don't like to talk trash and I avoid it. But if I got to get down there where you're at to talk to you, I still ain't going to talk trash. But I get close enough to whisper in your ear, if you'll let me, and tell you, hey, I'm here to help you. And I really will help you. I think you can see the countenance and the sincerity in my voice and in my eyes. And know that I'm a real man. I'm really here to help you. Jay's a real man. He's here to help you. The PNP News is here to help you. We're trying to help you lead a more prosperous, free liberty. God, when we were conceived in the womb, God gave us inalienable rights. There can't be a lien on them. We can't go to jail for using them. We can't be mistreated for using what God gave us. And some men want to rule over you. They want to come between you and God. They don't want they want to be between you and Jesus and be your ruler. Okay? Don't let them be your ruler. God's your ruler. God's their ruler. And hold them accountable. Hold them accountable. Hey, pull my finger. You know, I'm a fun guy. I am fun and fun and fun. And hey, I'm a good-looking guy, too. Now, I am trying to lose weight so I can be in better health. This is a personal, private decision I made. I shared this with y'all before, I think, but if I didn't, I'm sharing now. I want to lose some weight. I'd like to lose about 100 pounds. I got a lot of people giving me some ideas, and so I took an idea here and an idea here, and I'm trying to incorporate this. So I hope today is basically the end of May. So by the end of May next year, I want to be down 100 pounds. Okay, I don't want to do it all at one time and get sick. So I've got a lot of home remedies and cleansers, and I have a doctor of chiropractic that helps me with this. I have a DO that helps me. I have an MD that helps me. But these are men that aren't just licensed in this area. They actually really know what they're doing. The license is a formality as far as they're concerned, per my feeling. They don't tell me this, but I feel like that it's something they just had to do. They're natural healers, and they went and got formally trained, and somebody gave them a license so that the state won't come try and choke them out and kill them, put them in some dungeon for doing what God gave them the knowledge to do. I'm a natural, God, holy man healer. I'm a natural interpreter of things, and I make discernment. But because I'm a flawed vessel, and I have trusted a lot of people, very rich people, very poor people, financially. Very rich people in information, very poor people in information. So there's different kinds of rich and poor, just like I teach my children, okay? I've always taught my children, you're going to have to deal with a man on an individual basis. And if he says, well, we got all these other people concerned, I don't think so. We're dealing man to man. In fact, my daddy, he shakes hand with the man, and he said, are you a Christian? And if they say yes, he said, then we're both accountable to God. And if you do me wrong, it's on you. He's done this for years and years and years. And unless I misunderstand, he told me one time somebody did him wrong. Okay? Well, when you get to people signing contracts and you get into the number of times they've been done on contracts, it's over and over and over and over and over and over. Now, these are my dad's experiences, not mine. I mean, my earthly father. God don't make no mistakes. God knows what time it is, okay? And yeah, a lot of people have talked to me and they said, I can listen to you, but I've been hurt in church. I've been hurt by church folks. I think that was the religious crowd. You know, there used to be a guy named Dr. Gene Scott. He used to smoke cigars and pipes, and he got to hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that said, I can listen to that man because he's teaching me in a way I can understand. He's teaching me in a way I can have a relationship with God. Well, God bless Dr. Gene Scott. He's passed on now, but his wife, Mrs. Scott, I can't remember her first name, she's archiving and getting out his old messages, and she teaches and preaches herself and carrying on the legacy. And I salute them and applaud them. And to the naysayers, say what you will. You've been around since not too long after Adam come along, Adam and Eve. And oh, by the way, the law. Somebody asked me to say this about the law, so I'm going to do it. The first law God laid down. So first of all, he's the first creator of life, Adam and Eve. And all life throughout that is created by God. Okay, so Anybody that has any Christian belief, no matter how you slice or dice it, or what denomination you are, or you're no denomination at all, or you're just a Bible believer or a Jesus follower, will agree on most of this. They'll call what they call in man's law, will stipulate. Stipulate means we'll just agree to this section. Like there may be this section, but this part we'll agree to. The rest of it we'll debate. That's lawyer talk and judges talk. Well, we'll stipulate this. Okay, well, we'll stipulate that we're men. Okay. The way down to the jail, they decide if you're a man is if you got a ding-a-ling. A penis, you're a man. Period. End of conversation. Now, there are some politically correct jails that they got 3 or 4 cells that are for people that are like half a man, half a woman. They're like a mixed, quote, person. They're a mixed person. Where they a little man, little woman because they decided to do that, or they had a birth defect or something else. That's a topic for a whole nother day, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, God created life. So we're going to stipulate he's the creator of life. So he has all authority over life, including the freedom that he gave. He didn't imprison nobody, and he didn't authorize nobody to be imprisoned. Okay? But the first law was, don't eat of this. You can have any. I'm trying to think how to say it. I had some serious head strikes in the line of duty, and so anyway, sometimes I get stuff messed up, and it'll take me a minute to get it straight. But anyways, basically, you can have all this in the Garden of Eden, except you can't eat from this tree of right and wrong. And they did. And so God says, well, he was going to put them out of the Garden of Eden. That was their punishment for violating his law. And he said, I'm going to put you out of here before you eat of the tree of life, that you live forever, because God's law is absolute. So he put them out. Well, after a time, he made like the laws of Moses. In other words, they were God's laws, but people call them the laws of Moses. So Moses brought down God's laws. Then later on, there was the laws of Noah, or the Noahide laws. And then later on, there was other laws. And I'm not a religious legal scholar that I can call off all the sections of laws and how they spread around the world. But that is the original fountain of law. So all law goes back to them. And sometimes you'll find that people will write up documents that says, a time before the law can remember. And I thought that was pretty elegant. And I've used that in some documents, which means the American legal system, say from 1750 or 1776, 1792, 1787, 1789. There's different treaties and different things going on at different times. So it depends on what point of time. But anyway, basically, it's saying when America was colonies under the King of England, and then when they had a Continental Congress and they declared our independence, and they made all these statements and all these factual exertions in the Declaration of Independence, then later the Constitution, and then the Bill of Rights and so forth for the nation, that basically restrains the government and tells the government you must do these certain things for the people, which is very limited, very, very limited and very specific. And then all these bunch of things you cannot do to the people. And then all the states had constitutions that said the same thing. Well, when you say a time before the law can remember, what you're saying is before this system of law, before it was ever created, it can only remember from the day it was created to now. So if something was before that, then you say, in ancient times, the law of that day was da-da-da-da-da, which is a time before this law can remember. Okay? And so in our system, it says that the oldest laws, or the most substantial laws, as in they've been tried and true, They've gone through generations of people, decades and decades and centuries, and they've been tried and true, which is usually the common law. The common law of man is the common law of God. God is nature, nature is God, and in the Constitution it says we do ordain. To ordain something, you ordain ministers. That's under the authority of God. You ordain. Well, they ordained the Constitution saying, we recognize that you're God, the God of nature. We recognize you. We know who you are, and we recognize you, that you're the giver of life and the giver of law. And this Constitution is going to be down here, and here's you, and this is down here. This here says we're going to do everything we can as the government, the servants, the honorable servants of the people. The people's here under God. And then they made servants down here. And we're going to obey, all of our laws fall under your laws. And any of our laws here that's contrary to your law, falls away, it must yield. And the people are up here. And if the people say the government's doing wrong, then the government up here, the people up here will instruct us as the servants, stand down, yield, capitulate, and we must do it. Because here's one, God, then here's the people, then here's the government. 1, 2, 3. Government's at the bottom. And remember this here. Even when you get down here to the servants, then you have the local government. Your county is premier, because it was the counties that created the states. So the counties are here, then the states are beneath them, and then the states created a union contract or a union covenant and created a federal government. So you got the counties the strongest, then you got the state, and then you got the nation. Then when you get to the federal government, the Congress is the strongest branch of the three. There's three branches and in government. And Congress is the strongest. The president, which is basically next, is the next strongest. And the president carries out the rules, or the laws, I was corrected there, the laws that they laid down that's constitutional. The president carries them out, and he's the civilian commander of the military. Okay? So you don't wind up into a military state. It's supposed to be. And then the Supreme Court is supposed to sit over here in a neutral party and not try and interact any law, but just simply to interpret up here of what they did if they made a law, if it was constitutional. But they're the least powerful of the three. Okay? Then you get over to what Justice Anthony Scalia said, and I think there's other things that go along with that, but he made a very good point that the fourth branch of government is the people's grand jury. The people's ad hoc assemblies, the people's grand jury, and grand juries can nullify court decisions. And grand juries can do other things. And the people still have the power, because when it says these powers not delegated go back to the state or to the people, meaning, the people and the state in one sense are one and the same, but in another sense they're separate. But the people are the fourth branch of government, and that's well understood and well established. And most people knew that until 1860 or so, when Lincoln come in, and Lincoln come along with the Lieberman Code. He got Lieberman, another attorney, to make the Lieberman Code, which was totally unconstitutional. And Lincoln did a tremendous amount of unconstitutional, illegal things, including bringing the legislature, the federal legislature, Congress, back into session at gunpoint, which made everything they did null and void. And they've never properly been reinstituted. So really, Congress is out there on whatever. And therefore you don't have three branches of government. And then when they incorporated the government, you can't incorporate three separate branches into one. But that's what they did. But that's on one side. Okay, on the other side, you still have your constitutional republic. When the government talks about we have a democracy, they're talking about this side, the democracy side, the 14th Amendment citizen. Okay, well, I ain't a 14th Amendment citizen. And most of the people I know aren't 14th Amendment citizen. But if you don't say you ain't, then you are, by de facto. So this side over here is the United States of America, a republic, or the Republic of the United States, the sovereign republic states of the Union, the United States of America, the 50 states united for a common purpose. And in this system, I'm a man. In this system over here, they say I'm a person. And if you're a person, then you're, even if they call you a natural person, you're still a corporation. Alert. And over here it's different. Anyway, if I can help you, I will. You can write to me at DAYMOND, DAYMOND 4040 at yahoo.com. Again, DAYMOND, like Raymond, but DAYMOND. My grandpa was Raymond, one of them was, the other one was Jack. Anyway, DAYMOND, DAYMOND 4040 at yahoo.com. Or you can go to www.sovereignchurchofjesus.com. So you can email me, and I've answered one way or another. Some it was more generic, because what they were saying or what they wanted kind of like some generic information. But anyway, it's over 500 emails I've answered. My fingers and my mind's like meltdown mode from 2 weeks or so of all this. And then different ones I've talked to on the phone. And I've tried to use it as a priority basis. You know, I do what I can do. And I do what I've been doing for, give or take, 40 years. It's 39 years and some change. And then people say, well, you can't count this time or you can't count that. Well, if I'm the person making the claim, I can claim what I want to claim. And I have definitions within my claim, if it's necessary. In other words, if I was in a court action, they say, prove this time. Well, I can prove my career has been 39 years. You know, you got these doctors and lawyers and judges that claim X amount of years of experience. Well, they might have been on some personal sabbatical for a 2 or 3 year period of time. Well, nearly all my time's squashed together, but there was, you know, some small times here or there where I was between one agency or another, but then I might still have been on a reserve, so technically I was there. And if I wasn't, I was riding with cops and still out there. So I still gained the experience one way or another. Just to be technical and just to cut down the naysayers. But I guess they're going to be out there like the measles and the mumps and other diseases and bad yuck, you know, pus pockets out there that troll around trying to say bad stuff. You can't please everybody. Some people aren't for the truth. God says they like to have their ears tickled with lies, but they ain't going to get that here. They just ain't going to get it. Oh my God, I'm almost at 45 minutes. Am I losing my mind? I was going to do a 5-minute video. I guess it just ain't in me. I have so much truth in me. It's just busting out. I hate to see people suffering. It just kills me to see people suffering, so I do everything I can. And hopefully, when I'm dead and gone, all these videos will still be running around and around and around. I like Carl Miller. He's a great guy. His videos have been on the internet, I guess, since it started. And I think most of his stuff was between 1995 and 2001 or 2003. And I don't know how to find Carl Miller neither. I've been looking high and low all over Michigan for him and can't find him. And then people keep asking me, where are you at? Where are you at? Well, I'm either in Texas or I'm in Alabama. I'm in one or the other. I'm constantly traveling back and forth. I have land holdings in both state republics, and I'm back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and have been for a couple years. So I'm back and forth all the time. But they get into residency. I ain't a resident nowhere. But I am domiciled, and I do have a dominion. And you know where that is. But I ain't going to say. I don't want everybody to know where to find me, because somebody might be a bad guy and they might want to hurt me or my family or something. So I just don't say where I'm at. Those of you that knew where I am, then you just know. And if you out my locations where I dwell, where I have an abode and dwell, well, then I guess that'll be between you and God will do what he does. So, and I just move around. So I'm not homeless. I have more than one home. But I'm trying to get down to where I have one home, and hopefully if my church gets enough donations, my church can obtain me a home to be my abode where I dwell with my family. And then I can put my physical church near my home. In other words, the church will buy the land to put the church building on. We're the church. The people's the church, not the building. But they'll put a place there where we can worship, a worship center that most people call a church. And then I can have what they call a parsonage, or an abode where I dwell on the holy sacred land, where if people's got problems at 3 o'clock in the morning, that I got some kind of system set up where they can reach me and I can go with them and pray at 3 o'clock in the morning if they need it. And that we'll have funds for maybe a trust. Maybe we'll have a large trust set up for the church and for the home and for the needs of me and my family, and maybe we can get better equipment where I can keep getting these messages out there to people. So I don't have really no way for nobody to donate things really at this point in time, unless you want to just directly donate it to the church. And if you do that, then send me an email, DAYMOND4040 at yahoo.com. Just send me an email that you want to donate something of value, gold, silver, or whatever it is you have, and I'll give you a location. You can send that I can receive it. And thank you to anybody that wants to donate to the church. Basically, anything the church does get, the church basically helps me and others that's in need. And I am the presiding high priest after the order of Melchizedek. And that's a long explanation, but if somebody wants it, I'll do my best. Basically, if you go to the website, sovereignchurchofjesus.com, it'll tell you everything there. That's the best thing to do. And we've had over 50 million visitors. We've been up there 9 years or so. But it seems like the last few years it's just gone crazy with visitors. And sometimes I get these things that says there's been 6,000 visitors there today, or 40,000, or however many's been there. And I'm going like, wow, that's a lot of people in need. So I keep trying to update it and so forth, but I can only do so many videos and update that so fast. But I'll try and get out a video or two each week, maybe 3, just depends. And then try and keep updating the church, which I've been doing for 9 years, so long as I'm mentally and physically in a state to do that. You know, when you get hit in the head, you know, sometimes you have to have rest periods. You know how it goes. So I do what I can do, and that's just me. That's just being honest as I can be. So I just do what I do. And remember, every man's a liar saith the Lord, and he be the truth. And I tell you that I do the best to tell you the truth that I know and the way I understand it. The way you understand me to say it and the way I mean it could be the same or it could be different. And there could be a deeper meaning. So that's what I call roundhouse communication, full spectrum communication. If I sit down, me and another man, and we look eye to eye, and he asks me questions, then I answer him, and then he needs clarification, asks more, then I do more and more and more. But so you must know that when you communicate with another person, you're probably getting 50 to 60% closed communication. There's enough questions and answers. But if somebody usually asks a quick question, you give them a quick answer, you'd be doing good to get 50%. Okay? Because I hear people constantly, well, when you said today, I thought that meant today. Well, when I said today, I meant tomorrow. Well, that's not what you said. So that's another little thing gets into communication when you get to courts. They want to say the documents you signed said this. Well, that's not the way I understood them. Well, it don't matter how you understood them. You signed them. And remember, your signature implies you fully understood what was going on. You have an opportunity to sign or not to sign. You fully understand what it means, and you freely and voluntarily sign it. Elsewise, it's an autograph. Movie stars and celebrities give autographs. I've been given autographs on contracts all my life. I have never signed a contract in my life. That includes tax returns, that includes driver's license, registrations. Every single thing is an autograph for me because I don't understand all the do's and don'ts, all the rules and regulations, and all the possible meanings. So I don't sign nothing. I put my autograph there, and I do my best to try and write AG for autograph, UD for under duress, and UCC 1-308 without prejudice so that I stay in honor, if I can remember all that. I have put AGUD sometimes, autograph under duress, and really that covers it in my opinion, but I try and do the other one I can remember. Well, okay, look, if you learned something, and I hope you did, fantastic. If I talk too much and talk your ears off your head, but you learned something, I'm okay with that too. I hope I've educated you and made your day better, and I hope to keep doing more. If you have things you want me to talk about, whether it's contract law, biblical law, what a statute is, what a code is, and how it's a reflection of the actual law. The statute's a reflection of the law, and the code is a reflection. And then what they have a policy means the way we do it around here. If you want me to go more in depth in those things, or you have some other legal arena that you want me to talk about the lawfulness of it based on my opinions and my experience and my training with courts and police and judges and lawyers and such, say so. If you want to know things about herbal remedies and health issues and so forth, I'll tell you what I know based on my training and experience dealing with holistic